How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the week. Maybe you had a long, maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions while you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. What's black and always in the back of a police car? The seat. Not too bad. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN, which ended up having a green day after having consecutive red days. So I know many of you are excited about it. So I'm like, you know what? It's about time we did an update, of course, but I do these daily. But I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what this looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario going into Friday. And then we're going to go on Fintel taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and the selling behavior like on the institutional side and as well as on the retail side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some details that I want to share with you guys. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $8.69, being up 1.88% on the day. On the low, it tested $8.03, and then on the high, testing $8.98. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 29.08 million shares, and for the average volume over 10 trading days being at 82.075 million shares. So right away, we did have below average volume on the day, but we still ended up seeing some appreciation in the stock. So now when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 45.99. And then when we take a look at our moving averages, we are below the 21-day EMA, but also you can see here we do have some strength continuing here right on that 50-day. And as far as for the 200-day and as well as the 100-day, you can see we are clearly above it. So as far as where we actually tested on the low at $8.03, we were able to prove to have support. Remember I was talking about this? So this was right above the 100-day. So we were able to have a strong bounce and we ended up seeing a high on the day at $8.98. So what this tells us, and I talked about this a few days prior, $9 has now become the resistance area for OCGN. So if we're able to get above $9, then the next move I'll be looking forward to would be a move getting into this $9.20 range and then seeing where we can go from there before we hit another resistance around $9.60 or 61 to be exact. So keeping that in mind, the bullish case scenario, you know what it is. As far as for the bearish case scenario, if we do decide to pull back going into Friday, I want to see a continuation of strength right off that $8 level or right near the 100-day. It also wouldn't be a bad idea either if we could use the 200-day as support right here around $8.21. But for the most part, let's just see OCGN hold up the $8 level by the end of Friday. And of course, I'll make sure to give you guys an update on that. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for OCGN. So we can see for the dark pool short volume ratio, it's at 40.05. And then for the dark pool short volume being just over 4.9 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 2.2 million, updated 10 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 2.62. Scrolling down further on the page, you could see as far as for the history of the short volume ratio, on November the 9th close, it was at 30.06. And now for the close for yesterday, it's at 40.05. So it has gone up quite a bit. And what this tells us, yes, there's a lot of negative market sentiment, but OCGN does have short squeeze potential. Of course, if you've been in this play long enough, this is not surprising whatsoever. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution distribution for OCGN. So we could see here on the inflow, it was 49.42, and then on the outflow, it was 55.15. So we ended up having an outflow day. When we take a look at the breakdown, you can see we had 0 on the large, 31.73 on the medium, and then on the small we had 17.69, and keep in mind this is in the millions. When we take a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large we had 1.41, and on the medium we had 34.86, and then on the small we had 18.88. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, November the 11th, it was at 1,405.83. No surprises there. Now, when we take a look at the breakdown even further, you can see we had more selling than we had buying on the retail side. When we take a look at the medium side, we had even more selling, and we also did see, as far as for the largest concern, we had just selling that was listed here. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, though, it was right around 14.68. So we could see it has been creeping up. So what this tells me, there's a good amount of traders that are going in and out of this play, and they're trading off of the volatility. And also there could be a possibility when OCGN was able to make that run before seeing some resistance, many people are also selling their shares. Maybe they were holding, waiting for the stock to bounce up. But one thing that is very clear, though, when it did test the $8 level, around $8.03, we definitely did have a lot of demand there, and that's something that is good to see. So now let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, let me just go over quickly the recent press release that came out. This is going to be a good read, but I want to make sure you guys are up to speed in regards to covaxin. So we have here ocugen statement regarding publication of covaxin, the BBV152 phase 3 study results in the Lancet. We are pleased that the Lancet, a trusted source of clinical public health and global health knowledge, published phase 3 data showing the COVID-19 vaccine candidate covaxin has a 93.4 efficacy against severe COVID-19 disease. Covaxin, a whole variant inactivated COVID-19 vaccine candidate, uses the same technology that is safely and effectively applied in the production of Bharat Biotech's polio vaccine. These data were critical in the World Health Organization's recent decision to place this vaccine on its global emergency use listing, which now applies to more than 96 countries. Covaxin demonstrated 77.8% overall efficacy and 63.6% efficacy against asymptomatic disease and 65.2% efficacy against the Delta variant in the phase 3 clinical trial of nearly 25,800 participants. Adverse events reported in the trial were low, with 12.4% of subjects experiencing commonly known side effects and less than 0.5% of subjects experiencing serious adverse events, which is consistent with data from other vaccines that apply whole variant technology. Both adverse events and serious adverse events reported in the vaccine group were reported at similar rates to the placebo group. The trial was conducted in India and sponsored by Bharat Biopharma. More than 150 million doses of covaxin have already been manufactured and administered. These results make it the only vaccine to show efficacy against a COVID-19 Delta variant in a controlled phase 3 clinical trial. The rapid spread of the Delta variant makes it clear that expanding protection against this variant is critically important. With vaccination rates still significantly below those needed for herd immunity, there is an urgent need for additional vaccine options. We look forward to bringing covaxin to Canada and the United States. We recently submitted an investigational new drug application to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and an investigational new drug application to initiate a phase 3 clinical trial evaluating covaxin for the prevention of COVID-19 in adults, and as well as a submission for an emergency use authorization request for the use of covaxin in children 2 to 18 years of age. Our rolling submission for emergency use authorization for covaxin with Health Canada is proceeding. We are confident that upon its approval, this vaccine's positive safety and efficacy data, along with its established technology platform, will make it a strong tool in the fight against this pandemic and may help to overcome vaccine hesitancy for many. So this was definitely a great read. I hope you guys were able to follow along with me. I know it was quite a bit, but this is a great update and gives us a good idea of what we're working with and what's going on with OCGN, as well as Bharat Biotech, and what's going on behind the scenes, and as well as an update in regards to Health Canada and as well as for the FDA. So now when we get into the bulk of the final thoughts, now shoot, that was actually the bulk of the final thoughts. We could see for the overall price action, areas of support was right at $8.03. There was a lot of demand, there was a lot of buying, and we could see that the stock moved, and we have a resistance area at $9. I was talking about this previously earlier in the week that $9 was going to become resistance. So we want to see some price action above it for this stock to actually move better. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, this play does continue to have short squeeze potential. There's a lot of negative market sentiment around this stock. So if you're going to be inside of this play, this is why it's essential to do your homework and do your due diligence. And now I'm going to answer that question. Is now the right time to actually buy some shares of OCUGen? I, for myself, I will not be purchasing as of yet, but as far as for yourself, I want to make sure that you have a strategy. So don't just go all in on your first purchase if you are deciding to buy. You want to make sure you use position sizing. You want to slowly ease your way in and build your position if you decide to do so. I think that's the smartest thing to do due to the fact that this stock is extremely volatile overall in general. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, and we'll be talking real soon.